Hey everyone, welcome back to The Right Hand. This is the podcast. Ruben Allen, also in conjunction with Marshall Graham. I am Greg Copeland. I am the managing partner of Ruben Allen, administrative partner of Marshall Graham. And just wanted to chat with you today. Uh, I know we've closed out 2026 with a lot of small articles and a couple of episodes about finishing strong in 2025, how to wrap up 2025, how to start strong, prepare yourself for the start of 2026. And so basically what I wanted to do is just, as we stepped into 2026, I just wanted to start the year with a question that most law firm owners and leaders don't give themselves the time or permission to basically ask. And that is, what would you fix first if you were starting your law firm over today? And what I mean by this is not what you would improve eventually or not what you would tweak once, kind of things calm down, the waters are calm. But what would you fix immediately? Because you now understand what the cost is of getting it wrong. So when law firms start, when someone decides, hey, I want to start my own law firm, um, I want to hang my own shingle, most don't really start with a plan. What they do is they start with pressure. And what I mean by that is it's pressure to leave a job that wasn't working, or pressure to replace a paycheck, or pressure to prove yourself to others, prove that hey, I can do this, I can make it on my own. And when urgency is the foundation of your firm, everything else basically gets built into survival mode. So everything around your firm begins built in survival mode because urgency is your foundation. So um, what you do is a lot of times attorneys will take every case that comes to them, and not the cases that are best for them and who they are as a law firm owner. Um, they delay in hiring. I can't hire anybody because I just want to make sure I got this right. Uh, a lot of times they'll underprice their work because they're desperate. They're looking at just generating revenue. And so a lot of times they'll undercut themselves. Um, you tell yourself, hey, I'll fix this problem or fix these systems later. The way this intake process is, the way my billing process is, my billing procedure. I'll fix it all later because right now I don't have the time. Right now I'm just starting out. And so the problem with thinking like this is that later always never comes. It has this habit of I'll fix it later, but later never comes, And so it never gets fixed. Um, so just in talking to people, talking to attorneys, asking a general question, a lot of times I ask these in our free exploratory calls and consultations, about what you would fix first. And what I've learned over the years, there's a pattern that I kind of see again and again. And and I believe like if attorneys could start over this year, most wouldn't change the type of law that they practice, but definitely they would fix how that firm runs. And specifically, it's basically comes down to like three things most of the time in some form or fashion. The first one is the systems, intake, case management, billing, communication process. Um, you know, it's not that they want fancy tools. They want a clearer process, a clearer way forward on how to move forward with these things. Um, Systematic, a general process that helps the firm function. The second thing would be the people decision, the hiring. A lot of attorneys feel that they hired too late, or they are hiring too late, or hiring for the wrong role, or uh, basically hiring without clarity. Um, Having one thing in mind, you hire someone, and as that person starts to get going, you realize that maybe I didn't need this person's skill set. Maybe I'm looking for something totally different. Um, Hiring a entry level legal assistant, and then if things go on, maybe I need a more experienced legal assistant, a more experienced paralegal. Um, Hiring a paralegal, and then realizing maybe what I actually need is an associate to help me out because this paralegal can't do the work that the attorney does. Um, or hiring an attorney and realizing that all you really needed was was a paralegal as well. So overhiring in that place. And so, those things happen. And the third uh, thing that a lot of law firm owners and leaders feel like they would want to fix, it, it, it's setting boundaries. Setting boundaries with clients, strict office hours. Please don't call me on weekends. Don't call me after 7, 8, whatever it may be. This is exactly how you communicate. Communication guidelines, things like that. They boundaries with staff. This is how we do things. The office hours again. This is how we communicate with each other. This is how we record our communications. These are the processes that we have, and also boundaries with themselves. You have to put boundaries on yourself. Don't be working at 3 o'clock in the morning, or take that Sunday off. Keep it for yourself. Watch a little football, go to church, take a jog, take a walk, go to lunch. Don't burn yourself out. And these these three aren't, systems, you know, people decisions and hiring, boundaries. These aren't small issues. They may seem small, but they can rapidly blow up. And basically, they're the difference between actually owning a firm and being trapped by one, having your firm own you. And so there's an expensive early mistake that a lot of law firm owners and leaders make, and I see it commonly. And basically, it's attorneys waiting too long to address problems because the firm is still actually working. Revenue's coming in, cases are moving, and basically on the outside, everything looks fine. But when you pull back that curtain internally, what it is, the owner's exhausted. The decisions are reactive, not proactive, and the growth of the firm feels chaotic instead of basically intentional. There's no logic to it. Uh, so, by the time that law firm leader decides to actually fix things, um, uh, the cost um, is high, and that's the cost in stress, in money, and the cost in lost time. The most valuable thing we have is time, and it ends up being much higher than it needed to be if that problem was addressed in the early stages. And so, if you were starting over today, what would you stop doing immediately? Think about that for a second. If you were starting the firm today, anything that you're doing now, what would you stop doing immediately? And here's what I'd encourage. I'd say stop taking cases that don't align with your long-term visions. Um, Taking on cases just because they pay. Uh, Take on cases that are going to be authentic to you and your long-term vision in your firm. If you're a criminal defense attorney, you don't need to take on the housing cases. Um, if you're uh, if you're a family law attorney, you don't need to take on any personal injury. Just stop taking cases that aren't who you feel like you laid your vision out to be. Also, what I say is to stop being the bottleneck for every decision. Um, and basically learn how to create a system in which your planning works for you. and not where, oh, I'll handle this later, or if something comes, oh, I'll handle this later, or oh, I'll handle this later, and basically nothing gets done. Don't be afraid to take on uh, part-time help to help you with some of these things. Um, Also, stop assuming that working harder will eventually make things easier. Hard work doesn't create freedom. You have to create structure. Structure is what really creates the freedom for you and your firm. On the flip side, you have to look about it and say, what is it that you're doing now? What is it about your firm now that you would protect at all costs, that you would fiercely protect? I would say clarity. Protect your clarity. Clarity about who it is that you serve, who's your ideal client. Protect how the clarity about how your firm actually operates. This is how we want to operate. These are the standards, the procedures, and the processes that we want to operate as a firm to be successful. And also define this and bring clarity to what success looks like for you, not for other attorneys. A lot of attorneys, they deem success as number of hours billed or amount of revenue, or hours worked, or number of appearances in court. Maybe that's not what success is for you. You have to figure out what success looks like for you, on that end. Is it to have more time to yourself? Is it to shed some of the cases that you feel like in a practice area you don't want to be in, and just hone in on the practice areas you feel more comfortable with? What is successful for you? Because you have to gain that clarity, because without clarity, every decision that you make will end up feeling urgent. And without that clarity, you're going to feel a little bit lost. Once you gain that clarity, you operate with that clarity, your decisions, they become strategic and not reactive, not chaotic. So in that, there's questions that you have to ask yourself. And a lot of times we like to avoid these questions. And here are some of the questions, that law firm owners, law firm leaders avoid asking themselves, basically. And it's, if I were starting today, would I build the firm the same way? And if the answer is no, then what follows that means even more. And that's what's stopping you from fixing it now. If you sit down and you say, if I was starting my firm today, would I build this firm the exact same way that I have? And your answer is no, start fixing it. You know, and a lot of times what's stopping you is, it's not a lack of knowledge. It's your fear of slowing down. It's your fear of change. It's your fear of confronting the decisions, that once felt necessary. But when you think about it, they no longer serve you, because you're already telling yourself that I want to shed this. I want to fix this. So you need to learn how to reframe, um, for this year. And that, you know, it this year does not need to be the year that you hustle harder. It can be the year that you learn to run your firm better, run your firm with intention. Um, it could be the year that you this make this the year you stop building on the urgency, and you start building on intention. Make this the year you fix the one thing you've known, deep down inside, been needing attention for a long time, whether it's bringing on an associate, whether it's fixing that intake, whether it's creating a billing process that's more consistent, whether it's shedding those cases that you truly don't want. Make it this year to fix that. So as you move through this year, I just want to leave you with this. If you were starting a law firm owner in this year, um, what would you fix first? That's the question. Think about it. And then what's one small step? Just think about that. What's one small step that you could take this month in January or whatever month it may be when you're listening to this? What's one small step can you take to start fixing it now? This is the right hand. I'm Greg Copeland. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to stop ignoring what matters most. We're here for you guys. Talk to you later.